As a conversation about Breonna Taylor plays out on a national level, 500 people came together for a locally hosted virtual event to discuss racial diversity. It was called Not the Enemy. Scholars, artists, and activists talked about everything from backlash against Asian Americans over COVID-19 to the summer of national social unrest. News 4 Jax reporter Eric Avanier listened in, and he's joining us now in the newsroom. Eric, this was a very timely forum.
Yes, this was a very timely forum. In fact, although the online forum was planned months ago, it happened just 24 hours after protesters in cities across the U.S. Took to the streets after a grand jury decided not to indict those police officers who killed Breonna Taylor, and also on a night when people here in Jacksonville were protesting President Trump's visit to the River City.
Good evening, everybody.
The panelists for Thursday night's online forum spoke about racial diversity and why it's important for all of us to be open and accepting of people of color or other ethnic backgrounds. Event organizer Paul Hendrickson says this discussion began several months ago when coronavirus made its way from China to the U.S.
And in response to COVID-19, there was a backlash against Asians and Asian Americans.
Event speaker Elena Olander says the backlash against some Asian business owners here in Jacksonville was harsh.
They almost have to shut their doors because the support wasn't there, or just verbal attacks in person.
But then the subject of diversity shifted to racial injustice towards African Americans following the police killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and more locally, the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. All three events led to protests and even social unrest across the U.S., including Jacksonville, where even today, people are divided over differences between two slogans, Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter.
Differences do matter, but they absolutely do not need to divide us.
This is why a panel of online speakers have chosen to discuss these matters with the hope that people watching across the country will walk away with a better understanding of racial, social, and ethnic injustice and discrimination.
I think it's a very great time to have this conversation, especially with everything that's going on. We have so many issues at point, and I think everybody needs to be heard. So this is that opportunity for everyone's needs to be heard and for everyone to be acknowledged so that we can move forward collectively.
Moving forward with the hope that it brings our country closer together.
Now, the forum organizers say it's okay to protest what is perceived to be a racial or social injustice if the protest does not involve violence or the threat of violence. Reporting live in the newsroom, Eric Avanier, Channel 4, the local station.